Thank you again for joining us at Square One Lunch and Learn series. I'm the host, Z Wrong, Senior Project Manager at Square One Engineering. Today we have the founder and principal of Designs Unlimited and Square One lead designer, Tim Humphrey. He comes to us with 45 years of experience in the engineering field and a certified expert in SolidWorks and Creo. Tim worked with Edwards Lifesciences for 9 years and developed an internal SolidWorks certification program. He has trained both juniors and senior engineers, and his depth of knowledge has made him as a go-to expert in CAD. Today, he's bringing that same expertise to us. Now I'd like to turn it over to Tim.
Thank you, Z. Thank you very much for the introduction and welcome everybody. Excited to be able to do this. I love this type of stuff. As you know, SolidWorks is very feature rich, and we get in the heat of the battle when we're doing our jobs, and we don't always get a chance to see other ways of doing it. A lot of times when we get taught something, that's kind of the methodology we use, and we don't realize that there's a lot of hidden nuggets, and we're calling them hacks today. But I'm able to share, I think, some of my top ones. Even if you're a very seasoned user as myself, since probably 98, which is about the invent of SolidWorks, I'm still learning something new every day. So it's something new for those type of people, but also somebody that's, beginning or got a couple years under your belt. Hopefully you're going to see some things that you haven't seen before, or just be reminded that those things are there. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. I've got probably over 20 tips, because I'm going to integrate some smaller tips within tips as we go through that. And as Z mentioned, if we can kind of hold the questions till we'll maybe take a break halfway through, try to field some of those, and if not, we'll try to get those at the end. So, and I believe also we're going to be sending out a PDF of this presentation. Is that true, Z?
Correct.
Make sure I'm not representing something that's not true. So let's jump into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is repeat the last command. And you're going to see my SolidWorks here. I've got very large icons. I got a large cursor. That's because I want to make sure you guys can see everything. So the first one is, if I'm in a command, I'm going to pick the fillet command. And I'm going to go ahead and select something. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish that command. I'm done. And then, oh, I needed some more edges, or I'm going to different size. If I hit the enter command, that's going to take me to the last command that you did. Now, a caveat of that is only if you're selecting the menus. And what I'm going to try to show you today is we're going to get wherever our cursor is, we're going to have the menus go where our cursor is. We're going to try to not go up to these menus. So you're going to see a lot of hacks, as we're going to call them, that is going to optimize the way that you do things, make it so that you're not looking through menus. SolidWorks is pretty smart when you're in a feature, or you're in a sketch, or a feature-based type thing. It knows the type of commands that you can do, and it's going to have those at your fingertips. And we're going to, as we go through this, you're going to see that. So I'm going to flip back, go to the next one. The next one is reference planes. We're constantly creating planes because we don't have a plane where we're at. Maybe we did it off an edge and we need a plane towards the center of a part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and select two surfaces here. And I'm going to right mouse click, or I'm going to hit the S key, S key. So what the S key does is it gives me the commands that I'm in the feature base, things that have to do with it. If I want to do a cut, if I'm going to do an extrusion, a round, the whole wizard, but also it's giving my reference geometry. So I'm going to go ahead and hit plane. So once that's done, as you notice, it gave me a center plane. So automatically does that. So let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to do the other way, select two surfaces. So it knows when you got those two selected surfaces, what you can do with it. So go back to plane. I'm going to go pick that, and then I have that center plane. So as you can see, another thing you can do is if you have a front plane here and you want to use that, instead of going to plane command, hit the control key, select the plane, and then drag it. And you can put you right in the menu, and now you can put, you want it perpendicular, you want it through another point, you want an offset, so it kind of puts you in the command. So it's just grabbing the plane, control key, and stretch. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one. I love this one. This is recent files. This is a way that you've been working on things. You want to quickly get access to the things that you've been working on or something that previously that you worked on, and you want to get access to it very quickly. And this is the R command. And I'm going to use this a lot today. So as I teach you something or show you something, I'm going to try to integrate all these things together by the end so you can see how they all kind of are able to be used, and keeping my cursor, and I'm not going up here and doing a lot of selection and looking at stuff. So I'm going to hit the R key. So with the R key, it brings up, these are things that I have pinned so that, and first thing I want to do, let's go to the menu. Let's see what it is. So File, Open Recent, Browse Recent Files, and there it is. So by you hitting the R, as I said, it puts that right up right away, and you've got access to things that you've worked on. And I've pinned these because I'm going to be using these. And then if you don't pin it, there'll just be a whole bunch more stuff down here. And you can pin it if you want, or you can remove it. Another nice thing I want to show is you pull down this corner here. You see these two little chevrons here. Pull that open. And now you can open it as a read-only open. Right now it's already resolved, but you can do unresolved or resolved. If you have different configurations, you can pull that down. I don't have that. And your display states, and we're going to talk about display states as well. So that's the R key, very handy. Next one is your content menu. And I'm going to kind of encourage you, as you select something, don't move your mouse real quick. Select your two items, allow the system to catch up. There might be a dialog box or something that pops up. You can hit the S key. Don't move your mouse too quickly, because what happens is, as you see this dialog box comes up, toolbar, and you move it and it goes away, and how do you get it back? Hit the control key. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. So I'm going to hit the R key again. I'm going to bring up a quick assembly. Say yes. So what I want to do is say, I'm going to select these two items here. And you notice it knows what I want to do. It gives me the options to assemble this, but I move it away. And if I hit the control key, it pops it back up. So when that menu goes away, that's why I say, don't be jumping around, moving your mouse. Bring it here, it goes away, hit the control key, and it comes back. So that you've got it here. So just that's one way of getting that back. So that's real helpful. Next thing is the D key. This is kind of you can, when you're done with the command and you want to say finish, then you have to go back up. And I'm going to show you in SolidWorks in a moment that you hit the D key right where your cursor is. It's going to give the opportunity to complete the command. The other item is the breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs, you may not have noticed what it is, but I'm going to show you what that is and how that could be very useful, and how you can get that down to where your cursor is so that you're not jumping across the screen. So these are just things, if you, it's like when I like to get steps, I don't mind taking an extra mile to go do something, because I'm trying to, the goal is to get more steps, but when I'm working, I'm trying to get things done faster. So what I want to do is not go all over menus. I want to be right where I'm at. I want to be able to execute those things. So as you see right here, these are what they call breadcrumbs. So if you select the sketch, it's going to select the sketch that is highlighted right now. It's a cut extrude, so I can always edit that. This is a solid, this is the part, and this is the assembly. So this is kind of the breadcrumbs of how this thing was created, and this is the extrude, kind of shows you that. So what I do now, so when I select it, I've got it, I hit the D key, that brings that up here. So if I want to edit the sketch, then I could just go here, then I've got my sketch right there. And now if I hit my D key, now I can go ahead and say cancel, or I can say, okay, accept whatever I've got done. So that brings that up there, so I don't have to go up and complete that up in the corner up here. So, okay. Next thing we got is, this is kind of annoying at times. What happens is when you're in a assembly or you're in a large part and you have a lot of the features opened up from the parts or whatever it may be, this tree gets pretty long and you want to collapse it. If you hit Shift C, that'll collapse your tree. So let's go ahead. Now, as it shows here, it shows in the menus where you can go find that, but by using these hotkeys, it speeds it up so much more. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I got, open up a bunch of stuff here, I've got this open, obviously, I can just a mess. So if I hit the Shift C, it collapses that at any time. So that's a real helpful command, just to get things tidied up so that you don't have that big long list and try to find things. Next thing is what I'm calling nuggets in the tree. What this is, in your tree, you have all kinds of different information. You've got your coordinate systems, you've got your datum planes, your feature list, and such, but also there's folders on there. And those folders are very helpful because you can have equations, you've got your annotations in there, you've got a history file, and that may be particular to 2025. That's what I'm using right now, is 2025. So that might be something new in there because I don't remember it being there. But let's go ahead and take a look in SolidWorks on this. So let's go back to the part. I'm going to go ahead and use my R key again and go back to my part. It doesn't matter where you're at. I'm going to right mouse click. And I'm going to go down here where it says hide show tree items. And I'm going to open up a dialog box. And here you've got all kinds of things that you may not be aware that you have turned on. You may only be aware of what you got turned on here. But so right now I have this design binder turned on. Normally that's not turned on. Also, I normally don't have equations turned on. I turn that on. So this file that I'm showing you, I was playing with it and I forgot to not save it. Oh, you know what I can do? Here's a good thing. Let's say you're working on something and you made a mistake. You don't want to save it. You want to get what you had before. So if I hit reload back in, it's going to reload it in before it was changed. So evidently I already had done it and saved it off. So it didn't help. But that's just another little trick. You get yourself where you want to just dump what you're at. If you just pull down File, Reload, then that's going to take the previous version and put that in there. So let's go back and let's look at those again. And so once again, that's under Hide Show Tree Items. You can have it turned to automatic, or you can have it show or hide, so you can turn these things on, things that you want. Sensors is on right now too. So let's take a look at one of these just to see, you may not be aware of. Design Binder is really nice. You can drag and drop PDFs or various files onto this folder. It will be saved with the file, so that say this is a purchase part and you want to have the vendor's, the manufacturer's spec sheet, then you can drag that and put that in there. The other thing you've got is maybe you've got notes. Maybe there's something you want to leave for the next person working on this, or just kind of some calculations or what have you. If you open this up, it's a Word doc, and then you can add in anything that you want, save that off, and that's going to be attached to this file, and that's checked in and that's available to everybody. Many of you, or some of you, and if you haven't, go to 3D World, which is SolidWorks. Once a year they get together. It's a user group meeting, and they have in some pretty cool places, and they have a lot of breakout sessions, and there's a lot of tips and tricks. There's a lot of how-tos. There's a lot of management type classes that they give. And I always love the tips and tricks. And there's a guy that does 60 tips in 60 minutes.
Hey, Tim. Hey, thanks for this wonderful session. So I have a question with respect to the whole wizards. So normally, like if I'm like building up a fixtures and I'm just like coming up with counterbore, countersink, and stuff. Like when I'm just like putting a if I'm like meeting parts, right? So like how do you decide the size? Like in case if I'm just going to the standards and like I'm just selecting ANSI, yeah, over there. So like we have like
Yeah, so
different.
right. There's a lot of dialog boxes here, and there is a lot here. Great question, by the way. There's a lot of, what I love about SolidWorks is all the little radio boxes and gizmos that they have and visuals as far as, the different type of things you can do, tapped holes, counterbore, pipe threads. You have all the, different end conditions. You have also, when you're doing dowel pins, and you have press fits and running fits, and stuff that they have all the different standards, all that in there. But that question that you're kind of, I kind of see where you're going. There's a lot to that, and it's something that we can do on a side type thing. I'm more than happy if you want to reach out to me, and we can do that. And another thing is too, if people really enjoy this stuff, which I hope you do, I enjoy showing, because I enjoy learning and sharing this with others. If there's topics or things that you would like to see, maybe drop them into chat, contact Square One, and say, hey, I love it. I would like to learn more about such and such. And maybe what we can do is have this an ongoing thing where we can have a number of different topics and we can explore that stuff, because there is so much here. And not to say I know everything, but I know how to go find out. And I would love exploring those things with you. So I know I didn't answer your question, but I know where you're kind of leading, but there's a lot to it. And I don't think we'll be able to address it properly at this time in
Yeah, no
this
problem. Yeah,
format.
yeah, sure, sure.
Good.
Makes
No,
sense. Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move on to the next one. Zoom to fit. That's hitting the F key. There's many different ways. And what happens is, I'm going to go ahead and use my R key again, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm in working on something and tight and what have you, and I can scroll out. I can, hit this here to go back there, but I'm in there, and if I hit the F key, it fits. So that's just something that you may be aware of or hasn't, just a little thing when you get into something. And I'll show you some other things that's really good, because you're constantly, especially some of our customers I've seen have had some very large assemblies. So when you're going in and out and moving around trying to find things, it takes a lot of time just getting to the view or to the region that you want to work on, that you spend a lot of times doing it. And SolidWorks has a lot of tools to capture things like that. And you're going to see some more things later in these tips and tricks that I have that are going to allow you to kind of save those things and quickly do those. So that was the F key. And that's for just to fit as you're zoomed in, as you see here. And to you can also double click the middle mouse button. That's another one, or press F. So a couple different ways of doing that. Oh, this is a good one. I should have got a more difficult part, but there's times when you have a part and when you select a surface and you can say, give that normal to the screen, but it's not oriented in the way that you want. So this is showing us, if I pick this front face and I pick this edge right here, I want that edge there, which is this corner, to be up, as you see here. When you hit normal 2, that's going to give you that. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit my R key. I'm going to go back to this one, because, so what I want to do is say, my finished thing, I want it to look, dead on, something like this. You can't quite get it. So what I do is I'm going to select that surface first, normal to the screen. That's my top. And then I can right mouse click, or I can go normal 2, and that's going to take that. So whatever I want, if I want this and that, normal 2, and that puts its top surface on top. So when you do this, you don't always know what you're going to get, right? You don't know which is going to be up. So if you wanted this up, so just remember, the first pick is going to be normal to the screen. That second pick is going to be up. So that was normal too. Here's another thing, especially you're dealing with assembly parts. And one thing that SolidWorks has done a really good job on, and that is performance. They have really addressed that because it was pretty cumbersome when you have large assemblies. I'm talking about thousands of parts, that it was kind of difficult. Some people would take them 5-10 minutes just to load their assembly. So they've really addressed this in a lot of different tools, and maybe that could be another lunch and learn that we do, having to do with performance. If you're experiencing performance on your drawings, assemblies, parts, whatever it may be, SolidWorks has really addressed this with a lot of really cool features to really speed the system up. So this here is zoom to selection. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit our R key again, because that is great. So I've got a list of parts here, and I don't know, this is pretty easy because it's not too hidden. So I want to find where that hex is. So I come over here, I just click it, and then it gives me this option here, which is zoom to select. So it's going to zoom in to whatever part that I have here. So that is real quick. So you may not have known that, but it's real helpful when you get large assemblies. You know where it is in the tree, but you don't know where it is in the window here. And by just clicking it, not double clicking, and then you've hit right here, zoom to selection. That'll take you right to that part. I'm going to show you some more things that kind of play off this as well. Power trim. I'm not sure how many people are using it. I think sometimes people think it's unruly, and many times people call it a weed whacker, because you can eliminate a lot of things at once very quickly. But if you hit something by accident, you lost it. You have to do an undo. An undo just undoes everything that you got. So it will also take entities out, but it will also extend entities. So let's take a look at this here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my R key again, and I'm going to go to the star. So I'm going to go into my sketch, edit my sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and right mouse click, and then I'm going to hit my S key, excuse me, because your S key, now I'm in Sketcher. Now I have all the library of stuff that I can do in sketching. You can also add to these. So if I had a feature that I want to add in this, I'm going to show you in a minute where you can add more here. But the nice thing is, wherever I'm at, I hit the S key, it brings up my menu. So I'm not up here going to sketch, trim, power trim. I can just hit my S key and it takes me right to it. So we're in the power trim. So what that means is it's like a weed whacker, right? Now see, if you don't let go of the mouse, I go back over where that red dot is. I know that's very small. It comes back. So I don't let go of the mouse. I still got my finger over it. I go over to that dot. I know it's a little small. You've got that. Now that's the weed whacker. So, you know, another thing you can do is say I throw a line up in here, and I should hit my S key because that's my line right there, instead of going to the menus here. But let's say I wanted to extend this. The other thing that this does, the trim does, is it extends. So if I pick the end, now I can extend it. I can extend it to here. And now you notice it put the constraint, coincident. So it can also remove, but it can also extend. So you can grab the endpoint, bring it to a tangency or to some sort of constraint you want, or just wherever you want it. So it's not just trimming, it also extends. So that's the other thing. So, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit my D key, and that way I'm just going to get out of that. And D key again, and get out of my sketch, don't save. Okay, let's go back to the slides here. Is there any questions on that? And if I would like to show a raise of hands, if we can do that, Z, of how many people knew of or use the weed whacker or the power trim. Are people out there using it? Good. Okay. So yeah, I think now were you aware of you able to bring the entity back by going over the red dot? How many hands would stay up with that? Okay. Good. Good. As I said, these may not be new to everybody, but sometimes we forget about them. I know for myself, and it's just good to be reminded. All right. So the next one. So dimensioning tangencies, dimensioning different types of features. Hopefully everybody's somewhat aware of this, but maybe not, and this is real helpful. So by holding the shift key when you select an entity, it's going to, where you select it, it's going to select to the tangency of that feature. So in this case here, it's the default, you pick an arc. Without shift, it's going to take the center line. You're going to get center to center. Say that you want center to the outside tangency, then you would do this. And if you want outside tangencies, you'll do this. And you can also do the inside tangencies by where you select it, holding the shift key. So let's go ahead and go over to that. My R key again. And we're going to right mouse click just to show you and edit the sketch. So you don't have to go up to here in edit. So you can do that. And so I'm going to hit the S key as well. I'm going to go ahead and dimension. So if I hold the shift key and I hold the shift key here, you can see, depending on how you want it. So if you want it diagonal here, or if you want it horizontal, you just got to kind of drag it up. Or if you want it vertical, you just pull it over to where this pops in. And many of you probably have done this, especially the vertical, depending how much they're offset. Sometimes that's a difficult dimension to get, but it just depends on where you do it. So there's that. Now let's say I wanted to go with center to center. Obviously, I can pick that, and I can pick the arc. I didn't hold shift, so it's always going to pick the center point, right? So another thing, let's say I wanted to go with the inside here. So I'm going to pick shift and shift, and I don't want to do that because I had something else selected. Shift, pick that. Oh, it's still got that there. So as you can see, it's kind of annoying. I had that picked and I didn't realize that. I hit escape, but I had to do a double escape. So now if I pick the inside here and the inside here, got to hold the shift key, not the control key. There. Now I lost my dimension, so we're going to go ahead and go there. Looking at the keyboard because I missed shift. Now you've got that inside tangent to tangent. And we're going to go ahead and get out of there, hit my D key, and I'm just going to exit, discard changes. So next one we're going to do is arc dimension. Being able to measure an arc dimension. This comes up now and then, and you can obviously interrogate it if you need to know what that number is, but if you needed to dimension it, how do you go about that? And I've had that question asked me a number of times. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to select my entity here, right mouse click. I'm going to sketch. And now I'm going to hit my D key, my S key, not my D key. And that's I'm going to dimension again. So I'm going to select my entity. I'm going to select control, hold the control key, endpoint. And now I have my arc length. And that's the designator over the top of the dimension is stating that that is the arc length. And so you can, either direction you want it, obviously it's the same dimension, but that's how you get that placed on there. And then I can come in and modify it if I want. And I'm going to hit my D key just because. And then I'm going to hit my D key again, and I'm just going to exit my sketch. This is something, and as I was going through this, and I was looking at all the different slides I have, I've got probably 100 of them, and I try to pick out, I thought, some of the good ones. They're all good. And I forgot totally about this one right here. So this one even myself, after knowing it, but not forgot about it, I haven't been using this. This is fantastic. Because many times what we do is we sketch in, I need to put a feature. So I got to use this edge, trim it up, or I could sketch on top of it, making sure it's coincident and what have you. And then I've got my feature. I'm going to show you where I could just create these two edges here, then have SolidWorks tell me what I need here and complete the sketch for me. So this is something that even I, after all this time, I totally forgot about how nice that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my S key, and I'm going to, well, first I'm going to select this surface, and I'm going to go ahead and sketch. Okay. Now I have my settings up here turned on, and I'm going to go up and show you some tricks up in there on your options that it puts it normal to the screen when I go to sketch. You may not have that as a setup. It just may keep wherever you keep it there, but I have mine pop normal to the screen when I'm ready to sketch. Sometimes I want that, sometimes I don't. But so I'm going to go ahead and sketch. So I'm going to hit my S key. I'm going to go to my line, and I'm going to go ahead and start a sketch here. There. Okay, then I'm done. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a feature. And I can use my hotkeys again and do that with my S, but I'm just going to go over here and do extrude. Okay, so now what it's saying is close sketch with model edges. And I'm going to tell it yes. Now, pay attention here. It's telling me direction. Sometimes your direction going that way. Maybe it wants to go this way and complete it. And this is your solid versus this quadrant here. So the direction is correct. I'm going to say yes. And then there's my feature. So that saves you going and adding those other edges. It will go and look to see what you're connected to, and whatever edge, it could be whatever shape you want, it's going to collect all those edges between that point and your other point here. So that's just, to me, that's a big saving of time, because normally what we would do is we would come in here and I would select this and this. This is just one way, you know, and then use edge, convert the edge, and do it that way. Now this is new for SolidWorks 2025. Normally it's going to pick this whole edge and I have to trim it. This case, maybe because I did the other feature, maybe it knew. I don't know. I got to take a look at that. But you notice I didn't have to trim. It got the pieces that I need. So that's interesting. But you don't need to do that. You can just leave those out and then complete the command, and it'll complete that for you. This is a good one. Give me two. I'm going to go quicker then. Give me two because this is a good one. This is Sketch Expert, and this is when you get these crazy sketches and you don't know what to fix. You've got too many constraints. All of a sudden, it blows up on you. What do I do? So with that, let's go ahead and go over, hit my R key again. Go to this crazy sketch. Let's go ahead and edit it. Okay, so you see you've got this red, you've got a yellow means it doesn't know what to do. Red is it can't complete what it is. So if you select over here, down here where it says overdefined edge sketch, it's going to put the diagnostics in there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit diagnostics. And it's going to show you, this is a real complex one, by the way. It's going to show you 23 different solutions. What it does, it'll mark what it takes out. So if it deletes that and that, then that will complete the sketch. So you're going to see there's all kinds of different solutions. You find the solution you want, you accept it, and it fixes fixes that. This one here. This is a good one because not everybody may know this. So let me do this. Is mate with, and this will be the last one. And so I've got a part here. I already have one constraint. I got a coincident to the bottom of this here. I mean, I'll look at it, but that I want to have it centered between these two surfaces. So if I pick, nice thing is you pick what you want to do, and SolidWorks may even figure out what you're trying to do. And see the width? Now, if I move my mouse away and it disappears, we remember we hit the control key, it comes back. I'm going to do the width command. So there it is there. And now I do it real quick. Doesn't matter what order I pick these, as long as I get four surfaces. And there's the width. Okay, this is a good one too. I can say this all day long, actually. So this is a really good one. If you got something in the way, you don't like it, hit the tab key. It's gone. Oh, I want to bring it back. Hit the shift tab, brings it back. So one of the nice thing too is when you do, let's say that I want to take a look at 3 parts here. I right mouse click, you got isolate. You're probably familiar with that. Now I'm working on that. Say I wanted to save that as one of my display states. And so I'm going to call this one Tim. So now when I exit and I want to go back to that, or I'm working on something, go over to configurations. I got a whole bunch set over here just to kind of show. I've got one here where I was just working on the bearings. So it's that. I've got something, I got current work. I've got something that. So you have these different states set up so that you can refer back to it and get rid of all the other stuff because you're working just on this area. So that is another really good thing, and that is hide show. So you, as I said, hit tab key to remove it, shift tab to bring it back. You have to have your cursor close to where the part is to bring it back because it doesn't know where. So once you get it over that area, shift tab will bring it back. So it's just another nice thing. But also you can, with isolate, you can save those off as display states so that you can use those at any time. So
Can you go back to the slide where you showed us the breadcrumbs, the tip?
yes.
When you sketch on the left side, you also have a tree, and in the tree, you can select the sketch or
Yes.
any kind of thing.
Yes.
So can you show us what scenario we're going to use the breadcrumb versus the tree?
Oh, yeah. Good question. I like that. Somebody must have set him up perfect for me. So let's say that I select this here. Okay, and I want to edit the sketch, which is I've selected the boss, right? So I would go over here and I would say edit sketch, right? You can do that there. So if I select here, I'm going to hit the D key to bring it here. See my sketch right there? So I can click my sketch and I can say edit sketch. So the breadcrumbs is bringing what you would go up in here and you get in your sketch, or you wanted to modify the feature. The other thing you can do too, let's say that I select here and then I bring that down. I want to bring it closer to me. I want to go to the boss. So if I go to the boss, what it's going to do is I can right mouse click and say, I want to edit that because I want to make that taller, right? Whatever that may be. And I'm going to hit the D key because whoops, it's asking for a height. It was at what I did is I hit D, I put D in the height. So that's what it was doing there. So it wasn't letting me how to put a 1 inch or whatever I want in there. But that's the reason for the breadcrumbs is you can, get it down here versus I can always go over to here, but I may not know where it is in the tree. Usually when you select it, it highlights right. But by putting it here, I can go to the sketch, I can go to the boss, and I can redefine those right here by right mouse clicking. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I think basically it brings the control center closer to you, closer to the model, and you can work right there and imagine.
And
or
that is,
design.
yeah, that's a lot of those things that I was sharing today. Those are the things for productivity, to increase productivity. Sometimes we get frustrated. Where is it in the menus? How do I know? Like if I hit the S key here, I don't know where is let's see, what am I? SURFACE, surface. So if I search, I can go in and say, I want to go to surfaces. So it's going to go ahead and put me into that commands my surfaces over here. So this way I'm not, searching up in here. There's all kinds of ways right where your mouse is. If you right mouse click or use the S key or these keys that I've been showing you, you're going to find those things that you can do to a feature are right here. When you're in a sketch, it'll be all the sketch items. And you can also modify that too, which is really nice because you can go into, excuse me, not that. you can go into customize, and this is where you could customize. I got larger icons you see here. So here you got your different, every time I hit S key, so that's for part, assembly, drawing, sketch. Now I can come in here and search for commands, and I could drag that command onto my toolbar. So I have it. So you could customize these. And there's a lot more in here. This is a whole nother area too. So as I said, it's so robust and rich of features. Yep.
Well, Tim, I learned a lot today, and I'm sure everyone on here did too. I don't want to close it out, but it's that time, so I do have to kind of close it out. So first of all, I want to say thank you everyone for joining, and of course for Tim for sharing his best practices on how to enhance our designs.